All right, welcome back to episode 56 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, coming to you from beautiful Minnesota on Sunday about 4:30. What dedication, Troy? The Super Bowl is about to start, and we're here podcasting.
Yeah, I got the Super Bowl on record, so I can just fly through and watch the commercials, because the game doesn't really interest me, but the commercials do.
Yeah, commercials are always awesome. I don't know what we're dedicated to, but we're dedicated to something, because we're doing it. Couple announcements before we get going. We have a huge show coming next Thursday, February 23rd. The Masterclass, our next one, featuring the Cup and Mitch Grotman, the early years of the Cup. Really, really excited for that. Now that we're going to have 3 Masterclass episodes and we're working on a whole bunch more, we did add a section to the hockeycardsgongshow.com website. So if you want to go check out any of those, go to the site and it's under a Masterclass tab. There's a page with, we'll have all the episodes there and kind of keep a collection of them together. Troy, we are the Cup coverage leader, maybe, of all podcasts, right? We're your Cup coverage headquarters.
We're just giving ourselves the official Cup headquarters. Nice.
Yeah, why not, right? So we're going to have the Masterclass with Mitch Grotman. We're planning on having a bunch of more special guests on over the next week or two. And we're going to look at the Cup inside out, left, right, up and down. We're going to start with today, too, Troy's little analysis of the checklist. So look forward to that. And we got your back. We got you covered with the Cup. Also, a reminder to make sure to kick your family and friends out of the house on Saturday. So you can listen to the next Hockey Cards 101 uninterrupted, where we cover EPAC. We have Daniel Machado on from Upper Deck to do that. That should be good as well. And last thing, Troy, reminder that the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a Patreon podcast. We rely on the support of listeners like yourself to help us cover expenses, continue to produce more and more better hockey content, help us fund initiatives to grow the hockey in even a small way. Right now, for $5 a month, you can join our out of 99 support level tier. There's still some of those left. Be one of the first 99 supporters ever of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. You'll get exclusive access to our Discord, be able to participate in the show on kind of an insider access, and we'll have some evidence of how that works a little bit later on. It's real easy to do. You can go to hockeycardsgongshow.com, and there's a, I think, become a patron link on our site, or you can go to the Patreon website, Patreon, and search for Hockey Cards Gongshow, or you can visit the link in the show description for the podcast app you're listening to us on right now. And finally, in our social media, where we have a link tree, the podcast is there. We did have one new patron this week. He wanted to go incognito, so we're going to respect that. But you know who you are. Thank you very much. We appreciate your support. All right, Troy, you ready with the game plan?
On today's show, we begin with the greatest player to wear number 56. Then it's on to Who's Hot and the Struggle Bus. We follow this with Hoppy News and then take a look at part 1 of the Gongshow Rules to Hockey Card Investing. Next, it's on to new product releases, and we end with a look at who is a safer bet, JRob or Tage Thompson. Big show. All right, let's go. Number 56. Okay, let's go. So hockey's most famous 56 per the Hockey Writers' greatest player to wear each number article is Sergei Zubov. I'm waiting for Josh to give me his comments on Sergei Zubov. Anything?
Heard of him, so that's a plus.
Good. Excellent. We are there. We're 90% of the way there if you've heard of him. He was a defenseman, played in 1,068 regular season games over a 16-season NHL career. Played for 3 NHL teams during his career. Started his career with 3 seasons with the New York Rangers. This was followed by 1 season with the Penguins. I was kind of curious about that, just 1 season, and it looked like there was some rumor mill that he did not get along with Super Mario. Take that for what it's worth. Obviously, it's never been confirmed, but it's kind of interesting. And then he played for the Dallas Stars for the rest of his career.
I would assume if you don't get along with Mario, that's career limiting.
Yeah, you're kind of not going to fit into the whole Pittsburgh Penguins culture if you can't get along with him. All right, awards and accomplishments. Zubov is a Hall of Famer, 2-time Stanley Cup winner, 1994 with the Rangers and 1999 with Dallas. He was selected to 4 NHL All-Star games, playing in 3. He is a 1-time selection to the NHL second team All-Star.
Can I stop right there? Can you explain to me the difference between playing on the All-Star game and then being a second team All-Star?
I think they name at the end of the season, they name like the all-star team, like for the best performance is what I think it is.
Oh, it's like all pro in the NBA or all.
I think so. I think that's what it is.
They got to come up with a better differentiation then, because
maybe there is a better way, or they name
like
it something
NHL
else.
all pro or something like that. Yeah, no, I think you did it right. I think it's confusing the way that they do it.
Yeah, I think that's what they mean by it. But if someone knows, let us know if I have that wrong. Zubov has the most points by a Russian-born defenseman in a single season with 89. Zubov also has second for most points ever by a Russian-born defenseman in his career. Interesting stuff. I did not put these in fun facts, though. Maybe I should. The
Bobby Orr
fun facts were kind of
Russian defenseman. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
He was named number 95 out of the top 100 players in the post-1967 expansion era NHL per The Athletic. If you don't know, The Athletic is actually running a top 100 players in the post-1967 expansion era NHL, and he was number 95. So it was kind of interesting to see his name pop up on that list. His number is retired by the Dallas Stars in 2022. And finally, he won a gold medal at the 1992 Olympics with everyone's favorite, the Unified Team. Love the Unified Team. All right. For his stat line for the regular season, he had 152 goals, 619 assists for 771 points. He made the playoffs in 13 of his NHL seasons, compiling 24 goals, 93 assists for 117 points in 164 playoff games. Best season of his career from a point standpoint was his 1993-94 campaign with the Rangers, when Zubov had 12 goals and 77 assists for 89 points. So if you kind of look at Zubov, his career, what he was known for, he was known for being soft-spoken. He was one of those players who let his play do the talking. He wasn't out there jawing, talking smack, or even post-game. He wasn't very, very talkative. He just kind of did his work and let his game speak for itself. Interesting quote, Marty Turco said, "He made things fun and he just made everyone around him better, which is the biggest compliment I can give anybody. He plays the game like you want everyone to play." Zubov was known as an offensive D when he came into the league for the Rangers. But when he went to Dallas, the Dallas system kind of demanded him to think a little more defensively. And Zubov adapted because, in his words, he kind of said, it's about the team and helping the team win. However, even though he kind of adapted more to a defensive style, there were still times when he showed his offensive skill when the situation called for it. And you'll see, I mean, if you look at his career points, he never had 20 points. He was always in that 40 to 50, 60 career point range.
Given all that stuff that talks about how wonderful of a guy, great teammate, I'm going back. I can't get over this whole Pittsburgh thing between him and Mario.
Yeah,
you think it was girlfriend drama or something like that?
Well, there's more. I mean, the one thing that I did read where it said to get along with him, it came down to the power play, and the rumor was they both wanted to kind of be in control of the power play and be the cat, or I don't know what you want to say, be the captain, but the one who's running the puck through them, making the decisions. I don't know how you argue with Lemieux in that role.
I can't do a Russian voice, but he's like, Mario, I got this. I got it. You go over there. You look pretty. I got the power play.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, again, it's all rumor. It's never been confirmed. So it could be nothing. It could be something. But that's kind of what it was. All right. From the Athletic article that I mentioned above, they had a really good, just quick summary. He was an offensively capable as a defenseman in his time, but he was also reliable defensively. He had quite a quiet personality, but he was an effective communicator. He could garner individual glory while still making every player he shared the ice with better. Aww. So again, very nice. And again, I screwed up the first sentence. I'm going to read it again. He was as offensively capable as any defenseman in his time. There, I messed that up when I read it last time. So again, kind of just fits with everything I read. Offensively capable, quiet guy, but definitely a leader that let his play do the talking. All right, fun facts. He is the Dallas Stars' all-time leader in minutes played, average time on ice, points, and assists for a Dallas Stars defenseman. 11 consecutive years of 40-plus point seasons and 30-plus assists.
That's pretty good.
Next fun fact. Yeah, pretty good. Just steady Eddie all the way. But I couldn't find any other things. He coached in the KHL for a little bit, nothing he didn't write any children's books that I could find or anything like that, like the previous people we've had.
He didn't steal Mario's girlfriend? He didn't
No, nothing that bad.
No, okay.
All right, his rookie card, 1992-93 Upper Deck, number 516. PSA 10 pop count of 33 with a gem rate of 50%. The BGS 9.5 copy has a pop count of 4 with a gem rate of 57. So if you're looking at comps, the PSA 10 version with the pop of 33, a couple comps I could find. January 16th of this year on eBay Canada, there was a fixed price sale for $111 US. And then also on eBay Canada, there was an auction on December 28th of 2022 with a sale for $147 US of the PSA 10 copy. So again, not going to break the bank if this is a guy you want to go after. The BGS.
Okay, so that's weird about the 111. And I haven't told you this, but in the last 3 days, I've run into comps at 111 5 times. Is something going on here? Is it the end of the world?
I don't know.
Are aliens communicating with me and you, or what? What's happening?
Yeah, well, I'm assuming it's a translated number or whatever, converted number. So maybe that's what's happening. But
currency conversion, you're saying?
Yeah, maybe. But quickly, the BGS 9.5 Pop 4 comp I could find was $150 through the PWCC vault on December 20th of 2022. So again, obviously something we knew. It's not going to be a guy that breaks the bank, but pretty cheap, accessible if you do want to get in on him. And obviously his raw card's available on eBay if anyone wants that. But our raws are kind of a little all over the place.
Okay, quick reminder for stand-up displays. If you're not using stand-up displays, city or jersey stand or a custom stand that has your brand or a custom design on it to display your prized PC cards, you're not doing them justice, whether they're in your home office, or at work. Probably wouldn't leave my very valuable cards at work, but I don't know. Maybe some people do. Well, Dan, the founder of Stand Up Displays, is a passion hockey collector, entrepreneur, and Troy, they're just killing it lately. They're shipping out tons and tons of stands. They've got a number of city jersey stands for NHL players. Dan will be on our show next week to give us some tips and ideas on how to display your cards best in your, whether it be your man cave, home office, or maybe right on your living room mantle, as I'm sure your wife would love. Have you tried to do that? Relocate all your cards right in your living room? And
nope, they're still in the basement, in my display cases, and in my office. I haven't been brave enough to put them out in the main living room. I don't think that would go over well.
Probably not. Be sure to check out standupdisplays.com and search for your favorite players in their city/jersey stands, or have your own custom one designed. If you use the code GONGSHOW, you can save 10% off your order. Again, standupdisplays.co, I believe.
I will check that right now.
Don't want to give out bad information.
You got it. Standupdisplays.co.
Okay, make sure to go to standupdisplays.co, and you can search for your favorite players in their city or jersey stands, or have your own custom stand designed. Standupdisplays.co. All right, time for the Who's Hot in the Struggle Bus. Been about 3 weeks off, maybe, from Who's Hot in the Struggle Bus. It seems like it's been a while.
Feels a lot longer.
We don't want to do it when the NHL is sort of in hiatus around the All-Star game because, well, nobody's playing. So it kind of makes sense there. It also gave us a little bit of time to reflect, as I think everybody knows. I guess you may not. This is really the first time that for our podcast that we're in the NHL season. And to this point, we've been doing Who's Hot in Struggle Bus every episode. But we used our friends in the Gongshow Discord, and we did a poll. And we said, should we continue to do it 2 times a week or once per week? Because Troy and I were thinking, right, Troy, that maybe once a week would be better.
Yeah.
And overwhelmingly, unanimously, everyone said once per week. So I think on Mondays going forward, we're going to do Who's Hot in the Struggle Bus, which is good because we'll keep Miles off the struggle bus, right? We don't want to replace the transmission on that thing anytime soon or something like that. So good news there. But like always, we will start with Who's Hot. Our first guy, Troy, Artemi Panarin. You ever hear of him?
Heard of him, the bread man.
Bread man. 31-year-old Rangers forward is en fuego, on fire, especially Saturday night, which would have been last night for us, where he had a nice little 4-goal, 1-assist game. Overall, Troy, in the past 5 games, he has 4 goals, 5 assists for 9 points, giving him 16 goals, 43 assists, and 59 points in 53 games for the season. He is a teeny tiny bit behind last season's pace when he had 96 points with 22 goals, 74 assists. So, question for you, Troy. Given his little recent outburst in the last few days, do you think he's feeling the pressure now since the Rangers acquired fellow Russian Vladimir Tarasenko to demonstrate that he's the best Russian on the Rangers, and that's why he's kind of gone scorched earth?
No, I doubt it. I think
Okay.
Panarin was like the main reason that they got Tarasenko, if I read the news kind of right, because it sounds like they are almost best friends or really good close friends.
Oh, like Josh and Troy?
Yeah, Josh and Troy, and he was the one pushing for him. So I don't know if there's much competition there or if it's just, I don't know.
It could be healthy competition.
Healthy competition, but I don't think there's any animosity or he needs to prove himself to Tarasenko for sure.
Or friendly competition, maybe. But one might even argue that neither of them are the best Russian on the team, right?
Yeah.
You've got Igor Shesterkin sitting over there. From a hockey cards perspective, Panarin is a 2015 Young Gun PSA 10, pop 841. Last sale, Troy, $111. I'm telling you, something's weird's going on.
Yeah,
in February
that's crazy.
10th. Over the past 6 months, it is down about 26%, but it's showing a little bit of life in the past 2 weeks, where it's up almost 11%. One last little note on Panarin here. This is a guy, of course, that many have, we'll say, bemoaned as to why his values are so low and maybe is underappreciated in the hobby. Well, we might have stumbled onto part of the answer to this question. So let's stick a pin, Troy, in Panarin for a minute, and we'll revisit him when we unveil our Gongshow rules in a little bit. Okay? All right. Next guy, Troy, you ready?
I'm ready.
This is a moment. Whew. Okay. I'll collect myself. In whose hat? Mo Seider. Is this really happening? Are we locked in the metaverse?
Mm-hmm.
Troy, I'm scared.
He has jumped off the struggle bus and now he finds himself on the who's hot list. It's crazy.
Yeah, in all seriousness, he's been pretty good lately, which is great because he kind of sucked for 3 months. I don't know if you noticed earlier, actually, he was standing on the struggle bus line. We had to be like, Mo, you're in the wrong line, buddy. You're here. You're in the good line. I guess he was just kind of conditioned to be on the struggle bus. But he's back. Maybe. I guess we'll see. Over the past 5 games, though, he has 0 goals, 7 assists for 7 points. On the season, 3 goals, 25 assists for 28 points in 51 games played. Last season, of course, he won the Calder Trophy. He had 7 goals, 43 assists for 50 points in 82 games played. Like I said, playing much better, which is awesome to see. So I do have a question about that. And I'll be the first to admit I haven't watched a million Mo Seider games. So maybe Detroit fans can kind of help me understand this, or maybe you can, Troy. If I go back to 2017, where little Mo is in Germany, you know that he's never scored more than 7 goals in any season he's ever played in?
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Given that the hobby is so kind of goal obsessed, where does the hype come from on it?
Well, we're winning a Rookie of the Year. We'll definitely do that, and we'll get you some hype. But I don't know. We've heard from people in the comments and stuff we put out. It's like, oh, he's really good defenseman. But as we're seeing with his pricing and stuff, I don't think anyone cares in the hobby. Like, he might be
there's
great.
lots of really good defensemen.
Yeah, he might be a great defenseman and play the position very well. But from an investing and standpoint, it's the points are not there for him to get all the love that I think some of the early values demanded. We'll see, though. But I think he'll get into it a little bit. But yeah, I didn't really know that about his scoring prowess, which we've kind of talked about a lot on this show.
So I was kind of trying to think of comparatives, right? And if he got to like 25 goals, which you'd have to say is a stretch. I mean, that's like 4 times the more than he's ever scored in a year, and 100 points, he would almost be like Roman Yossi's year last year. And why does nobody care about Roman Yossi? I get he's been in the league forever, but it's like we've talked about a million times. These assist machines or point producers that don't score goals, they don't seem to have long-term kind of steam in the hobby. And so I'm just want to understand myself, like, why does everyone go so bananas over this guy? But message us, help us learn a little bit, I guess. From a hockey cards perspective, Mo, of course, is a 2021 Young Gun PSA 10. His population count is 1,752. He has a 64% gem rate, Troy. Last sold for $90 on February 10th. It's actually down about 10% in the past month. So, you'd think if he keeps putting up points and playing a little bit better, that his pricing might start to go up a little bit. I would say this, if I were a Mo guy, which obviously I'm probably not, I don't think I would invest, though, based on his gem rate on his Young Gun PSA 10. I think I would find other less replaceable cards to get into while his values are still down a little bit, if you're really convinced that he's going to turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Troy, you got our last guy in who's hot.
I got our last guy. It's going to be quick. Clayton Keller, Arizona center, has been red hot in February. So in his 3 games played so far this month, Keller has 3 goals, 4 assists for 7 points. Again, I know not many games in February so far with the All-Star break, but I needed to show some love for a Coyotes player. Keller has been having a great season so far. In 53 games played, he has 21 goals and 27 assists for 48 points, which puts him on pace for 74 points, which would be a career high. In addition, obviously, I kind of mentioned the All-Star game. He was selected to participate in the All-Star game this year. All right, he's still young, 24 years old. He's in his 7th NHL season, which sounds nutty to say. At 24, he's in his 7th NHL season.
He's got to be turning 25 soon then, I would
Yeah, he like 100. I looked at it. It's like 150 days or something. He turns 25. And I said, personally, this is really probably a guy I need to watch more of. I've kind of always heard of him. He's been in the periphery, always been an interesting player, but I've never really followed him. And again, Arizona. So the games for us are 2 hours usually behind. So it'd be like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. when they'd be on if they're home games out in Arizona. So again, this is definitely a guy I need to watch more of, though, because he seems like a good player. So I need to kind of figure him out a little more. His rookie card is a 2017 Young Guns with a pop of 108 and a gem rate of 50% on the PSA 10. It is sold in the $50 to $65 US range in January, which, holy cow, if I believe in him, I'm probably going to jump in at that price. Holy cow. There was a $90 US sale on eBay Canada on February 4th of this year. So I'm just throwing that in there as a data point. I'm not sure what it means. In December of 22, his card had sales in the $75 to $95 US range. So it seems down from that, and it's kind of fluctuated always in that range at a bottom of like 50 to a top of the 95 to 100, maybe getting a little bit over the 100. When, there's some hype building around him in the offseason. Or not
I read that as anything less than 70, if you can pick it up, you're probably doing okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that the first time you've had a Coyote? And
I was thinking I was going to try to look, but then like the system crashed because our outlines are way too big.
Yeah. All right. Well, there it is, Troy. It's never late. I kind of feel bad about this first guy because it's a Cole Sillinger. Has anyone had a worse season, do you think? Well, it's maybe a goalie or two, right? But
well, yeah, we got some goalies that have had some brutal seasons this year.
We did give the goalies a break today on Struggle Bus, so I guess we're charitable there. I would call the season a disaster so far for Sillinger. He's only 19-year-old Canadian forward, so still time, I suppose. He showed a lot of promise last year. He had 16 goals and 15 assists for 31 points in 79 games played. So far this year, his sophomore year in the NHL, he has a meager 2 goals and 6 assists. I swear that this isn't a math show, Troy, but that's got to be like 8 points, I'm guessing, in 48 games played. He did, though, have an assist last night, but that was his first point in 13 games.
Wow.
Yikes. You'd almost assume he plays for the Wild. But right? It's about right. Given his performance, he's still getting a decent opportunity. He's getting like 13 and a half minutes time on ice. His shooting percentage, though, Troy, which was 10.8% last year, is down to 3% this year. Is that bad?
Not good.
No, yeah. Recently, he's also been spending a little bit of time in the Shane Wright suite, also known as the press box, as the Blue Jackets are probably trying anything and everything to get him going a little bit. From a hockey card perspective, Sillinger is a 2021 Young Gun. His PSA 10 has a pop of 390 with a gem rate of 66%. Last sold on February 8th for $35 US. Probably barely covers the PSA grading costs and shipping. It is down about 65% from the start of the season when it was selling right around the $100 US mark. Would love to hear from any Blue Jacket fans too. Here's another guy. If you watch all the games, that like, are you seeing anything in him that you're still holding out hope, or you kind of putting this in the lost cause at this point? So it would be great to hear from a few people there and kind of message us and let us know. But yeah, not going swimmingly for Sillinger so far. You got the last guy, Troy?
All right. Dawson Mercer, forward since January 22nd. The 21-year-old Mercer has played in 7 games and has managed 1 measly goal. So definitely struggle butt candidate here. However, overall the season...
Did you say struggle butt? think you said struggle bus.
Oh, struggle bus candidate. Overall this season, Mercer has 11 goals, 18 assists for 29 points in 52 games played. He's on pace for 45 points, which would be more than he had last year, which was 42, which was his first year in the NHL. So again, young guy. However, the last 7 games or so have been pretty brutal for him, having just 1 point with that 1 goal. Currently, he's on the third line and the second power play unit with the. So you'd think he gets some little scoring chances with the second power play unit, but seems like it's been a struggle recently. His rookie is a 2021 Young Guns PSA 10, which has a pop of 726 with a gem rate of 64%. So again, that's getting kind of up there.
That's a pretty big pop.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed it's that high.
Yeah, and in February, most sales via eBay have been in the $30 to $56 range. And there was, though, a verified paid sale on eBay on February 10th of 2023 for $87. So it's kind of that one little anomaly. In October of 2022, there were sales around the lower $90 to $110 range, with still some variances above and below those ranges. So it's definitely down, I would say, from where it was peaking in October. But again, another guy, maybe if you're high on, might be if you can find it for that $30 to $56 range for a PSA 10 copy, might be time to get in.
Well, there's a little opening in the lineup right now, too, and they could maybe use his help. So, yeah, it'd be an interesting week or two to watch Dawson Mercer and see if he can score some goals here. With that being said, Troy, we're going to switch into hobby news.
All right.
And we got to talk about Jack Hughes first. Is this a Gongshow curse? What happened? We devote kind of the marquee to our show to him last Thursday, and what happened, of course, immediately goes down, and he's got the week to week with upper body injury deal. I think this is the one issue that anyone that's trying to analyze Hughes from a hobby perspective points to, that he's had a little bit of a difficult time staying healthy, right? What do they say? The best ability is availability, right? When it comes to athletes, and a little bit iffy there. Devils coach Lindy Rufftroy did say that he expects Hughes to be back sooner than later, so I suppose that's good. And I guess this leaves us wondering, are there any young flourishing prospects left now to invest in? It's like everyone's going down.
They're all getting injured. Is this shoulder injury?
I don't know, upper body, so they're not disclosing it. But like, where does the hobby shift its attention now? Does it go back to like JRob and Tage or Trevor Zegras? Is Matty Beniers healthy? Is he back? I don't know. No dramatic drops in Hughes card prices yet or anything like that. I think he'd have to be out for more of an extended time for that start to happen. Last question to Troy is there another brother that we maybe haven't heard of yet that they can call up?
There probably is. There's probably like 3 other brothers that we haven't even mentioned that are just sitting there playing
in
high
to take
school
his
or
place.
in the minors or something.
The Caulfield thing is a huge hobby bummer, and if this lingers, it would be another big hobby bummer. So I'm praying hard that he gets healthy. You know, I think too that you got to talk about there's healthy enough to play and then healthy enough to play well, right? Yeah. So we would like him to be able to produce. And staying on the injury side of things, Logan Thompson, my dark horse Calder candidate, hurt his leg in a non-contact injury during the Golden Knights 5-1 spanking over our Minnesota Wild. Troy, I don't know if you saw it, but it didn't look real good. Like, it was one of those deals where he was kind of going up and down a little bit and then just fell over and had to be basically helped off the ice. Couldn't move one of his legs, it looked like. There was an MRI. I think that they kind of put him in the week-to-week spot as well. So, he also hadn't had probably the best last 6 weeks. I think he was fine, but not the scorching pace that he started the season with. So it's going to be an opportunity probably for Beniers to run away with the Calder at this point. So kind of bummers, Jack Hughes, Logan Thompson. And okay, Troy, now, so what was your favorite Connor Bedard moment?
I saw this.
Is it over?
Could be over. You got no points. I don't know what to do now.
Yep. On February 3rd, Bedard's Regina Pats took on the Lethbridge Hurricanes. And for the first time in this WHL season, Bedard failed to register a point in the Pats' 3-2 victory. So I guess they didn't even need him. We don't need you. You going to jump off the Bedard hype train now?
No, I'm still on it. I'm still leading. I'm in the I'm the conductor of the train. I'm ready to go.
I wouldn't worry. You're right. He's still got 48 goals and 48 assists. That's 96 points and 39 games played. That's pretty good. Okay, this is not Gongshow Game Show, but we're going to play a little mini game, and it's called Does the Hobby Care? We referenced this a little bit earlier, but Tarasenko, right, traded to the New York Rangers. He did score a goal in his very first game. I think it was the first goal of the game, too, so kind of fortuitous there. So do you think, Troy, unless you've cheated and read ahead, that he got a little bit of a price bump hobby-wise from the trade?
Oh, Tarasenko, well, realistically, I'll say no. I mean, that's what I would guess, no, because, well, you know what? Talk about this. I've watched enough of breaks where Tarasenko stuff's in there, and people seem to go a little bit crazy, so
yeah.
Maybe I'll say there was a bump. I don't know how much, but I'll say there was a bump.
There actually was a little bit of a bump, up about
nice.
22% in the past couple of weeks. So it's 2013 Young Gun PSA 10, Troy, top 452, last sold for $111.
What is going on?
Dude.
Oh, this is crazy.
This is getting creepy.
We're in the Matrix. Right. There's a glitch.
Okay, we're going to move on to Dustin Brown. He's going to have his number 23 jersey retired, and it's going to get a statue outside of the Kings arena. Were you a Dustin Brown guy?
I was not a Dustin Brown guy, and it's just more the fact that I didn't follow him very much. But boy, if you ask me, what Kings player would I not expect to have a statue? I didn't realize. I had to look up some stuff while we were kind of chatting. I just didn't realize this guy's been around for that long, and with all the seasons with the Kings, so 18 years with the Kings, that probably does deserve something. And
well, two-time Stanley Cup champion, was the first Kings player to ever hoist the cup. I get all that. But a statue, I mean, getting your jersey retired is a big deal.
Yeah.
How many guys have a statue?
A statue's pretty crazy. Lot. I'm sure Gretzky might have one for the Kings, but holy cow. Like, that's pretty, I mean, it's cool. Definitely good for him.
Do they still play in the Lakers arena too? Do you know?
I have they got to be are they at the Staples? Or where? I don't know. I don't know my LA sports
it's not
scene.
Staples anymore. It's whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, probably crypto coin.
Yeah, don't ask me where to play.
But I'm just thinking, like, is it going to be like Kobe statue and then Dustin Brown?
Yeah, I don't know. It is. You're right. It's crypto.com arena.
Big honor, though. And so, if you're a Dustin Brown collector, that adds a little bit of cred to your PC, I'm guessing. So congrats, I guess, to him and Kings fans alike there. Okay, Troy, last bit of hobby news. Kind of a big story. It involves us, actually. Troy, hobby drama.
Hobby drama.
Hobby drama. Right. We're not big drama guys, but we did get into it a tiny bit. So on last show, we did our weekly PWCC hockey preview. And one of the cards that you had picked out and talked for a little bit about, nice things to say, was a 2007 The Cup Patrick Kane, RPA out of 99 with a sweet 4-color patch, right?
Yeah, maybe too sweet.
A BTS authentic holder. Patch almost seemed too good to be true, Troy. And it ended up being that was the case. So we did a little Instagram promo story, I guess, to complement the podcast. And we wanted to show a couple of cards that we were, we had talked about, and then help PWCC maybe get some traffic to their auction, and show listener and Instagram friend, haven't met him in person, but would like to, Case Hits Reed, had noticed or thought something was maybe a little fishy with the patch in this card. And Troy, he reached out to Mitch Grotman, who's going to do the masterclass, noted cup expert. And Mitch had an original image of this card because it was serial numbered, of course. And the original patch was not the same as the patch in the PWCC auction. The original one, I think, was almost a napkin patch, right? And then all of a sudden goes to 4-color patch. Pretty easy to tell the difference. So we took this information and, that Reed and Mitch provided, and we forwarded it onto PC and PWCC. Kudos to them. They did a quick review, and the card was removed from the auction. So that was good to see. And it was just, I think, kind of a good maybe story of the hobby kind of protecting itself a little bit. And kudos to Case It's Reed and Mitch for taking the time to provide the information on the card, and for PWCC for acting pretty quickly and doing the right thing. How everything played out, I guess, was really nice to see. And from our standpoint, and being a partner with PWCC and them sponsoring our show, it made me kind of feel proud to be working with them. You were pretty fired up about the whole situation.
I was fired up about the situation. Because it was me that talked about it without there's just some things I go back and look, and now I think about the patch and how great it looked. And even knowing that there was the website out there, the Hobby Insider website that Jeremy told us about, that has pictures of actually this year's, or the year that we're talking about, the 2007 Cup cards. There are actually pictures and a log of all of them. And this one was on there, and you could see the one patch color. So somehow it got swapped out down the process of trading hands or whatever. So yeah, I was pretty fired up about it.
Well, usually the Gongshow dunce cap is firmly glued to my head. So, and not that you had really done anything wrong, because, and it kind of begs the whole question. So obviously everyone did the right thing. Really happy about that. But this is not good for the hobby for this keep continuing to happen. Right.
Nope.
And so got to kind of come together and figure out a way to protect collectors from this happening to them. Let's assume for a second that the person who was selling this card in the PWCC didn't swap the patch themselves, right? Yeah. Let's say they better bought the card. That's a pretty devastating, right? To have a 4-figure card and to find out that, it's not authentic. And it makes Beckett look bad because, of course, they authenticated it. But as it was pointed out to me, it's like, how do they know, right? Because there is no archive or there is no reference or resource to check when they're going through the process, whether a patch is the original patch or not. Well,
there could have been that site that we used, the Hobby Insider one that Jeremy put up. I don't know if that was available when Beckett. I couldn't find the serial number of this thing because I wanted to look it up to see if I could find the date that they authenticated it.
Yeah,
but by the time I thought about that, it was already pulled. So I couldn't.
I think that site is great. So this is not a negative comment on that, but if you're a company like Beckett and you're grading lots of cards and you have to be very process driven, how do you design a process around a site that has a very limited amount of information? Yeah. It's just not ideal from that perspective. So we asked around a lot, talked about a bunch of people, and the two potential solutions that I keep coming back to are work for Upper Deck, and I get that, and I don't know what their appetite is to take this on, but I would hope they would want to, is to produce their own archive of, I don't know where you draw the line, but at least the Cup or Ultimate or Premier, maybe SP Authentic with the 100 Future Watch or out of 100 Future Watch Auto patches. That would be really helpful. Or I almost think the better solution is to somehow like super glue these patches in there, or somebody mentioned, I think Mitch Grobman, like you could do like a little hook or something that essentially would wreck the card if you were trying to swap the patch and make it almost impossible to do it without damaging the card.
Yeah, I hope there's something that can be done. If not, it's just going to keep happening. And I keep going back to the whole EPAC thing, and I don't know how it works, but how the heck do you get all these images for these EPAC cards?
ComC,
yeah,
right?
I get that, but they have to scan. They got to know what cards they have and put them in there.
Yeah,
because they create. Even there's EPAC exclusive stuff. So how do you get the images for those? Why can't we apply that to these patch cards that come out of just one product, the Cup? I mean, just start with the Cup and see. I don't know. Obviously, I get it. There's cost. There's stuff. We've talked to Billy about it. We've talked to Upper Deck. We know that there's a cost involved in this. It's going to keep happening. So,
and then what's crazy is, as this was going down, I don't know, it was news or whatever, hobby drama about card porn getting sued by. So apparently, in a very similar but way different type of situation, a couple of collectors, and this was a few years ago, I believe, already now, had a LeBron James exquisite RPA on the Golden Auction. This was a big money card, and similar deal, right? Where there was a photo of an early version of the card, and the patch was different. So I think Card Porn had what helped expose this as kind of what the situation is, and Golden ends up removing the card from the auction, and now the owners of the card are thinking, well, geez, we have $2 million here or $1 million or something like that, and now that's seriously in question. Card is worth much, much, much less. And so they're suing Cardboard for $2 million.
Was that card graded?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they go after the grading company then? That makes no sense.
I don't know. Yeah. So all in all, good resolution. Very happy. Everyone came together. Hobby united. Hobby drama.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's about as most drama we'll ever get into. All right. It's kind of a good segue, actually, into, and I'm actually pretty excited about this, the Gongshow Rules. We're going to introduce probably a new recurring, it'll be a little bit happenstance, I suppose, when it comes. We're not going to have any fixed dates, and it might just come up where we revisit the Gongshow rules as different topics come up in the hobby, or as we're just chatting about cards in one way or another. And I do got to credit Bill Simmons here, because it's something borrowed from a bit that he does, where essentially he's got like his sports gambling rules, right? He's a big sports gambler. You listen to his podcast or show, and he'll kind of have like, he'll reference his gambling rules and have something like, don't ever bet the over in a football, like a snow game or something. And so I don't know how that hit me, but I was kind of thinking, well, how would you apply similar rules to hockey card investing, where you take everything that we've learned over the past 8-9 months, and could we come up with a set of rules that are it's a living list? Okay, so things are going to evolve, things are going to change. I think that's going to be part of the fun of it, Troy, is we'll update and amend these rules as we go along. Who knows how long the list will get? That'd be kind of the fun of it too. But we do plan to post these soon and have them live on our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, so you can go and refresh and reference them here. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of meant to be the accumulation of our knowledge, right? And how do we apply everything that we've learned from all the research we've done from the show, everything we've learned from people that listen, that message us. And like I said, I'm kind of excited about it. So we have 3 rules today that we want to throw out there and maybe refine, and I'll get your input, Troy. And we'll just go right into rule 1. So Gongshow rule 1 is be wary of high pop counts and run from high gem rates. This is especially true with when you're thinking about buying or holding young guns, of course, and young guns that are newer, that are post-pandemic, where we know print runs are high. As a pop count goes higher, it's going to affect the price of the card, right? We know that. Pop counts go up, it puts pressure, downward price or value pressure on the card from that point. So I don't know about you, Troy, but I start to get concerned when I see pop counts of 1,500. I get worried, I guess, at 2,000, and I'm out when it goes kind of 2,500 plus. Unless it's a PC play and you get the card cheap and you don't care, but you don't want to overpay, of course, in that situation. And so it's like, I think how do you identify when this is likely to happen? Okay. First, if it's a young player prospect you're buying into is lighting it up, or they came into the league with a huge amount of hobby, like a Lafreniere, or a current guy like JRob, who's kind of exploded. The second clearest indicator is gem rate. We have to assume that more of these cards have been printed, of course, as sports card popularity has grown since the pandemic, and high gem rates are going to be a concern for any player. We also have to know, though, Troy, that gem rates can vary, and it's mainly what we're finding is mainly based on the series that it's come out of. So like in the last couple of years, we've seen Series 1 have had much lower gem rates than Series 2. But even that being the case, there can be a significant difference between specific cards within the same series. You look at Series 1, which has a lower gem rate for 2021, as an example, you got Caulfield at 35%, Zegras at 30%, still in the same ballpark, but there is a 17% difference. So here's a good example. Like, it's easy for us to use as a Wild fan. I might want a Kaprizov Young Gun PSA 10, but at now like 3,200 pop count and 67% gem rate, I don't think you can ever expect this card to really truly hold a lot of value. So if you're going to get it, you got to buy it on the cheap. Is that what you try to do, Troy? Buy Kaprizov on the cheap?
Now it's just now it's a PC card. There's definitely no way that thing's ever getting its money back.
It's always good to throw in that story. So do you agree with all this so far? Is this making sense? Do you have any kind of amendments or anything you want to add or tweak?
Nope, just high pop counts stink, and you gotta be wary of them if you're looking at this at cards from an investing angle. You better look at the pop counts and the gem rates, because even with the gem rates, you can use that to almost work out what you predict pop counts will go to.
Mm-hmm. The ultimate test of this is going to be Connor Bedard, right?
Mm-hmm. He might be like the Zion Williamson, like if he has 10,000 PSA 10 rookie cards, young guns.
Well, it'll depend what series he comes out and what the kind of gem rate trend of that series is, of course. And also, honestly, there's exceptions to every rule, and he could just end up being one of those. But I will get probably personally in and out of the Connor Bedard Young Guns game very early and try to make money really early on. If the pop counts get ridiculous right away, which we expect, and if the gem rates are really high. We don't talk about the Connor McDavid Young Guns BGS 9.5 very often, but it's 7,500, right? And I think at the time, BGS was still the leader in grading, where his PSA pop count is much smaller. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, could he be the first player to 10,000 pop count for PSA? So think of, like, you have to play like Connor McDavid and just be ridiculous for the value to even hold on something like that. But Bedard could definitely test that theory. Okay, so Gongshow Rule 1, just say it again. Be wary of high pop counts and run from high gem rates. Now we'll move on to number 2. This one hits home after our PWCC adventure. Gongshow Rule number 2, Troy, is never trust a great patch.
Agree.
Right? And now if you pull a card out of a box that you buy that is a sick multicolor patch, that, of course, is one thing. But if you're looking to trade with someone or buy a card on the secondary market, especially for any sizable amount of money, this is where you can't ever trust the patch. And if one thing that I've definitely learned through the last year in these instances where we've had fake or swap patches is you got to do research before you buy, and you got to be skeptical of an amazing patch before you shell out a bunch of money to get it. It goes without saying that most of these cards will be serial numbered, so that's really helpful, like in the case with the Patrick Kane, where you're able to compare 2 images with the same serial number from identify the different patches there. And I don't know if there's any era or time that's different. Like, we've been told that, this was especially a big problem early on in the Cup, first few years, probably is the case. But we just saw, Troy, with the Ottinger and JRob last summer, right? And it was like Premier, and I don't know if it was Ultimate Collection or Future Watch Auto patches, but it was in 2020 cards too. So it's a problem that is been happening for a while and is continuing to happen as well. So given that you can't ever trust a great patch, if you're looking at a card, and even if it's graded, it doesn't matter because they're not going to catch it. Here's what I would do. First of all, is I would have a subscription to someone like Card Ladder. There's a link in our show description. If you want to sign up and support our show, that'd be great. And the reason why I say that is their sales history goes back like 15, 16, 17, 18 years. And you can try to find every sale of that card, especially if it's an older one. If it's a newer one, not as big, you don't need to go back as far, of course. And try to find patches that are different patches for the same card that you have. That's obviously the clearest indicator. Beyond that, though, you can look for other copies. So if it's out of 99 card, look for any sale and see what the patches look like. If every patch is a napkin patch and you have the one 6-color patch, to me, Troy, that I might lose confidence in buying that card.
Yeah, they'll raise some red flags pretty quick.
Now, I have seen different sets where the I guess the quality of patch will have a wide spectrum. So it's not an absolute, of course. And I would say, too, if you're going to shell out, if you're getting like 5-figure, 6-figure cards, find experts. Find people that seem to collect these and reach out and ask them. Because once you buy the card and own it, and if it's, here's the nightmare scenario, right? You buy a $12,000 RPA of your favorite player, and then 3 weeks later, somebody sends you a photo of that card from 6 years ago with a different patch, a sale that happened. And from what I understand, you're kind of holding the bag at that point, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
And I think, too, that, you're never going to have 100% certainty, but I don't know if this is the best thing to say, but really what's going to kill you is that old photo, right? Because I'm sure there's a lot of swap patches that probably people don't know about, and ignorance is bliss, maybe. But yeah, it does add that element of risk in a lot of these really high value cards. Is that patch real or not? So I don't know, Troy, you got anything to add to that, to Gongshow Rule 2? Never trust a great patch?
No, I just will say that it personally, seeing the stuff with the Dallas Stars, and I was actually kind of looking at Ottingers at that time, like patch autos and stuff. It just kind of turned me off from the whole thing, and I didn't even pull the trigger on any. Yeah,
it's it's a threat to the hobby. And going back to our PWCC conversation a little bit, we got to figure this out. Everyone needs to work together. We need Upper Deck to help, but we need to all come together and protect collectors from getting duped, I guess, by these. Okay, we're going to move on to Gongshow Rule 3. It's our last rule today in the Gongshow Rules. And Rule 3, Troy, is consistent goal scoring trumps almost everything else. From all the analysis we've done over the past year, it really, really seems like a player's ability to consistently score goals or have that goal scoring pedigree trumps almost everything else. And it's not the only thing that you look at when everyone wants to know who the next young breakout player is going to be, right? And almost the first thing I look at are their age, which will probably be a rule going forward that we'll introduce at some point. But then it's, do they have a goal scoring pedigree? So we had talked about in our Who's Hot, your guy Artemi Panarin there, the bread man.
Yep.
Let's pull him back into this conversation. So again, the hobby has long wondered, why not more love? Why is he so underappreciated? Why are values so low? When you look back at the last 15 years he's played hockey, starting at 17 years old in Russia, Troy, he's never scored 40 goals in any season ever. Right? He's a point producer, yes. He's an assist machine, sure, but a goal scorer, not really. After this year, Troy, as a comparison, JRob will have 40 goals in 4 of his 8 seasons, going back to 16 years old in the OHL, as a counterpoint. So if half of his seasons, he's had 40 or more. And I kind of think that I don't know if you want to call it like the Maginot line or something like that. I hate making like war references on sports cards, but couldn't think of anything different. I kind of feel like that 40 point mark is kind of that magic mark. Or the other thing I was thinking of kind of as an equivalent is if the player there's a 30 game season, right?
You mean 40 goal mark or 40 point mark?
40 goal.
Gotcha.
40 goal mark.
Gotcha.
40 goal mark is the Maginot line. Sorry about that. 40 goals or a half a goals per game. The more and more I've looked at when you can look back at the pedigree, I think that is what points to, well, if you've scored goals at a good clip every year you've played hockey, logic would say you're not going to forget how to score when you get to the NHL. And I would challenge you to go and find any of the bankable young superstars that were all the Caulfields of the world, the Matty Beniers, the Connor Bedards. They all score lots of goals. This could also be why defensemen are so often overlooked. They have the Rodney Dangerfield, get no respect kind of thing, because defensemen rarely score 40 goals in a season. Right, going back to young players, when you're trying to decide whether it's their first year or second year in the NHL, they're not likely to score 40 goals then. It doesn't happen real often now. But I think, Troy, that's where you go back and you look at the pedigree there. One of the websites that I really like to use for this, do you use Quant Hockey a lot?
I don't use it a lot, but I have started using it more and more after you mentioned it, I don't know, a couple months ago to me. So I've been using it a little bit more.
It's QUANTHOCKEY.com. What I like about it is you can look at every season they played going back to juniors, right? So in some cases, 15, 16 years old, and look at how a player has produced points along their journey into the NHL. And this is where I'll look for those 40 goal seasons, or if they didn't play that many games, the 0.5 goals per game. Use Cole Caulfield for this. If you look back to every year he's played hockey, he's almost a 1 goal per game guy before he got to the NHL. He got off, he had his rookie year last year, and before he got hurt this year, he had 26 goals in 46 games, and that's why his values were exploding. So that's rule 3, Troy. Consistent goal scoring trumps almost everything else. Anything to comments, concerns, questions, anything to add to that?
Goals are sexy. We've said it before. It's the one thing that people can latch onto, especially if you're a casual fan. Goals make sense. Goals are easy to understand. So I think that's why, obviously, they take precedent.
We want to get your feedback on this, so please go ahead and message us with any comments that you have. But just to recap quickly, to start off the Gongshow rules, rule number 1, be wary of high pop counts and run from high gem rates. Rule number 2, never trust a great patch. And rule number 3, consistent goal scoring trumps almost everything else. We announced last show that we partnered with Slab Sharks, a Canadian graded cards eBay consignor. We just did their first weekly auction recap post on Instagram yesterday, so go to our Gongshow Instagram to check that out. And if you're not aware of Slab Sharks, they make it easy for Canadian hockey card collectors, and let's face it, that's where most of all the good hockey cards are, to sell their cards via eBay. Most importantly, Troy, they make it easy for Canadian hockey card collectors to sell their cards to U.S. buyers like us. We want to get our little grubby hands on them without having to deal with all the shipping hassles and just all the hassles that come with selling your cards on eBay. And we've done that a fair amount, so we know what that's like. So if you're interested, if you're in Canada, you have graded hockey cards or any cards you want to sell, check out Slab Sharks Inc. on Instagram. And they have information on their payout fee percentages and how to consign with them. Or if you're a hockey card buyer, you want to go to their eBay store Just search for Slab Sharks Inc. eBay, and you can see their weekly auctions that typically end on Thursday nights. I think that, there's a lot of people that are doing sort of these curated auctions, and I really like that because as a hockey collector, I know, okay, somebody like Slab Sharks on Thursday night, there's going to be a ton of hockey cards. It's not like looking for one random card here and there. I can go in and get a lot of great options. New product releases, Troy. This is a big one. The big new products here segment. The a checklist came out the other day for the 2020 The Cup. We have Mo Seider on Who's Hot, and we have a 2020 The Cup checklist. I think we're in the Matrix, dude.
Yeah, there's something going on, man. I mean, checklist came out for 2020, 21 The Cup, which is awesome. I think some people, maybe us too, thought this day would never come, but here it is. We have a checklist, finally. Build-up has been so long that it's actually really good now to see a checklist and kind of get this over with. Because like I said, I think last show or a couple shows ago, I'm kind of sick of 2020, 2021 The Cup. Kind of sick of talking about it. I just wanted to come out and let's look at cool cards and stop talking about when it's coming out and all that stuff. So it's looks like we're going to have it next week.
Well, that's one of my big questions. Well, coming up in a week or so. Is that, can it live up to the hype?
Yeah, I don't know. It's very, very interesting. It's just a really, I don't know how to say it, a unique circumstance where it's two years since the release of the last product, and it's just going to be a goofy thing. But okay, so the checklist came out. So I started looking at the checklist, and I always like to do just kind of the big overview and see how many actually different unique cards there are. And it looks like from my analysis, downloading the spreadsheet from Cardboard Connection or Beckett, looks like there's 4,214 different cards that are on the spreadsheet. So I will just say this. Don't buy the cup thinking you will pull the card you want. You probably will not. Because there are some definitely cool cards, but there's probably no way you're actually going to pull the card that you actually want. So go buy the
So I think it's worth a reminder there's 6 cards in a tin of the cup.
Yeah.
So
definitely. And then I started thinking more because I started looking at the checklist and I started looking at the wild players. Because I was just curious what wild players were on there. And I started at the base and I just started looking at them like Fiala, Ryan Suter. And I'm like, oh God, these guys aren't on the team anymore. So I actually went in just using the base cards, the 100 set base cards, and said, I want to see how many players cup team in this product release, they're on a different team than their current NHL team. I just wanted to get an idea. I don't know what the average is because every release is going to have this. It's going to have an issue with this. But with this having a 2-year kind of delay, I was just very curious on what it was. And so I took that list. I threw out Eric Lindros, Gretzky's, the Bobby Orr, and I threw out anyone that was still might be current, but they haven't played this year. Think of Carey Price. I threw those out. So just
active NHL
just
players,
give me the active guys. And it was around 85 cards that I used for my base set of that. And again, this is just the base cards, that first 100. And I found 18 of them have a player on a different team than they are now. So 21% of the players in the base set of the cup are on a different team right now than they are in their cup card. I don't know what number I was expecting. I don't know if this even means anything to anyone. I just thought it was something that was pretty interesting to look at. But
it's a fun fact, if nothing else.
Definitely a fun fact, if nothing else. I'm not saying it's bad, it's good, I'm indifferent or anything. It's just something I was really curious about. Now, I'm going to start. We started with that, so let's start with the base rookie auto patches. And I just want to see who got the 99 treatment. And I know Josh and me have kind of talked about this, but these cards are either out of 99 or out of 249, and we think the 99s are the interesting ones because I don't know if you want to call them the anointed ones by Upper Deck or whatever, but it's curious. It's always interesting to see who they give the out of 99 treatment for the base rookie auto patches. And those 6 players are Lafreniere, Bowen Byram, Dylan Cozens, Alexander Romanov, Kirill Kaprizov, and Timmy Stützle. I think I got that right. Josh, which one what name in there stands out to you?
Well, I think obviously Romanov, but I think in general, though, I would say that only 3 of the 6 really deserve the out of 99 treatment.
And that's what you get when they probably, who knows how long ago they started putting this together. They must, and with all the stuff that happened in between, and maybe they made the decision, we're not changing it. We've committed to it. And
pretty tough to argue that JRob, for sure, Ottinger and Sorokin don't deserve the out of 99 over Laffy, Byram, and your guy Romanov, Troy. right? I mean, there's no way they wouldn't have Laffy do it because he was their kind of signature guy and spokesman for the set, but he doesn't deserve it. Let's just be honest, right? He could turn into the Hart Trophy winner next year, but what he's done to this point, come on, like what, 0.3 points per game or something like that, versus JRob, who is legitimately could be a superstar in this league.
Yeah, and this is
the big one.
Yeah,
99 or 249.
Yeah, and this is kind of what we knew this was going to happen, because just how long it's taken, and kind of see these interesting, I don't know what you want to call them, conundrums that were spotted. All right.
Well, it's really easy to Monday morning quarterback.
Oh yeah, this is way easy to Monday morning quarterback this thing. All right. So Josh kind of mentioned it. I'm going to say this right. Here's the box breakdown you get. Obviously, 6 cards in one hobby box, or hobby tin, I should say, probably. You get 1 rookie patch autograph, 1 additional patch autograph, which could be a rookie, a veteran, or a legend. You get 1 autograph card, which is a non-memorabilia card. You get 2 non-autographed inserts, memorabilia, printing plates, and or redemption cards. And then you get 1 base card. 6 total cards in your tin, and that's what you get. And again, I didn't put this in the notes, but off the top of my head, I think pre-sale pricing in the U.S. is around $1,200 something US dollars. So that's what we're seeing.
Let's just do a little on-the-fly breakdown of this, right? Because it's like in the U.S. right now, it's about $12.50 a box, right? So we're at $210 a card, roughly. Call it that, okay? And to break even on a box, at best your base card on a 249 is going to be worth what, $25, something like that. 2 non-autographed inserts, memorabilia, printing plates, or redemption cards. It ain't happening there. An auto card. I mean, cup autos are okay, but how many cup autos are worth around $200? You know, that's going to be tough. There's an additional patch autograph, so I guess you're hoping for like a Gretzky patch, or it's going to come down to that rookie patch autograph. And if it's Alexander Romanov, you're sunk. If it's JRob or Kaprizov or Stützle, you're probably okay. I don't know. I just think it's going to be tough to pull an ROI.
Yeah, I'm very curious what happens when this product release, what the pricing does within the first month. Is there a huge demand and it goes up, or is just no one cares because it's been 2 years since this product was kind of built? And I don't know.
And what's the upper end going to be worth? I honestly don't have a good read on that yet. Like, is there going to be a $100,000 card in this box? You would think at $1,200 a box, there should be at least 1 6-figure card, right?
Maybe.
I don't know. I guess you would hope that. I would. But, and I'm not saying like don't buy the cup.
Yeah.
You just got to know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Don't buy the cup if you're like, I'm going to use my last $1,200 to make $2,500, because that's going to be a tough road ahead.
Yeah, probably not going to happen. Okay. So that's kind of the box breakdown. Again, I'm going to go over quickly just what is in this product that is of note from like the sell sheet and all that stuff. So the new stuff, the new inserts we have the CA United. They're booklets featuring standout captain and alternate captain pairings. They have a C patch and an A patch from a game-worn jersey. Pretty cool. Again, not sure how highly collectible they'll be once they're released, but they are new. There's the Lamplighters. Obviously, foil boards. They feature rookie, veteran, and legend goal scorers. There's some new signature home unis and signature away uni cards that I think, if I remember, that each card features 2 jersey swatches, 2 patch swatches, and a hard signed autograph. So super cool. And then there's parallels to that one. This one I like, the stick and move, featuring a game use stick. I'm a sucker for sticks, and in baseball they're starting to do the cleats, where they have the cleat thick card. So I'm a sucker for that. I think that's pretty cool. And then there's also the 2003-04 exquisite limited logo rookies that they're releasing. So a little throwback to the classic 2003-04 design. Large patch.
Well, that could be big because that's LeBron exquisite, right? He would have been.
Yeah, and they have super large patches, hard signed autographs, everything we like.
Ooh.
Yep. And then for booklets, I always like to go through these, the booklets. There's the printing plate booklets. I'm not a huge fan of, but they're there. There's the big 9-way signature booklet, serial numbered to 9. Here's who's on it. It's the top rookies. It's Cousins, Bowen Byram, Gabe Vilardi, Kirill Kaprizov, Romanov, Sorokin, Lafreniere, Stützle, and Niles Hoglander. I just like how these look. I always like when people, you open them up and it's got all those autographs on it. I think they're pretty cool.
No JRob, huh?
Yeah, it's one of those, because it is interesting to see. Like, do you think they shoehorned JRob into a couple of these kind of?
Oh yeah, it looked like it.
Yeah, we've kind of mentioned offline with some people about that. All right, there's the autograph monumental patch booklets. If you look at the sell sheet, they have the Kaprizov one that's just silly. So that's what if you pack full, you know that's a sick auto or a sick patch. But
Are you a monumental patch guy?
I think they look super cool. I don't have any, but I think they're super cool.
I like them too, but the one thing that I've thought about with them, and I do like them, is there's really no. I don't think in most cases there's a picture of the player, or it's very small.
It's very small. Like
normally,
the one they show on the bottom right is Kaprizov. It's very small, but it is cool looking.
It's just a giant patch and then the auto. So if you don't get the player isn't the focus of the card, the patch. Well, hence the name monumental patch, right?
Yeah, but again, very cool little booklet cards. They have the brand logo autograph booklets. Obviously, those are serial numbered to just 3. And then they also have some Legend of Hockey triple signed booklets. And if you look at the sell sheet, they show us the Flyers one. That looks pretty sweet. It's got like Hextall, Lindros, who's the other guy? Rob Brindamore, maybe? I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's Rob Brindamore. Or Rod Brindamore, if I remember right. So that's the booklets. Again, there's some classic stuff that has been in there recently. The brilliances, the enshrinements, and the limited logos. We've talked about those before. And then just looking at the checklist again, like I kind of scrolled through almost way too long for like an hour, just scrolling through every single line item on that spreadsheet. And to me, I'm really curious to see the cut signatures. There is cut signatures in this. You know, they have like Al Arbor, Clancy, some really cool old time names. And I think I like cut signatures. I'm still not 100% sure, but I think it's pretty cool that they include some of those older guys, you know, who have passed away or whatever, that they can still put some kind of thing in there. Obviously, as long as they don't do the Panini and throw in a George Brett for my, my Babe Ruth auto or whatever that was. All right. And then I already mentioned it, but since my number 7 favorite team is the Philadelphia Flyers, so I'm really interested to see that NHL triple signed booklet with Lindros, Hextall, and Rod Brindamore. I might have to try to find and get that card since they're my 7th favorite team. One other thing, I noticed this and it just hurt. There are manufactured patches in this release. There is a set that says manufactured patches. Stop this right now. It's called Inked Insignias Auto Manufactured Patch Set. Oh, that just made
I guarantee you if we buy
we'll get 6 of them.
4 of these. How much would you... I think I would need like a half an hour just to stare at the wall if I had a tin in the cup and I pulled a manufactured patch. It should be illegal.
I have not seen these in person, so I don't know. Maybe they look great. But again, high-end product, I hate seeing manufactured patch. But maybe someone let me know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are cool.
Well, it's just a personal preference thing. Yeah. Maybe people don't care. But even like the draft day marks, which I kind of understand why they're manufactured patches. I just had never made that connection until like 4 or 5 months ago. And I went from loving them to, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
I'm a patch snob. Sorry.
Yeah. And then we'll end it, obviously, the rookie class of 2021 cards. Lots of different numbered parallels and all that fun stuff. Again, look at the list. There's tons of cards. Lots of cool stuff. I still am very excited about the cut signatures. I just want to see those in person or see them for sale or something so I can see an image of them.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm sure there'll be a lot of being broken. A lot of people buy cases, will rip cases. A lot of singles going on the secondary market. It's going to be awesome. Looking ahead just really quickly. So it looks like Series 2 is pushed again, this time to late March. The first release date was basically when the cup is coming out, I think February 22nd. Mm-hmm. Then they put the cup there. Then it was moved to early March, and now it's listed as March 29th. It's creeping closer and closer to the Spring Expo. So they released Series 1 during the Fall Expo, right? The first day of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of feel like if it gets pushed again, there might be synergy.
Yep.
Right?
I loved having the Series 1 released on the day we were at the Fall Expo. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was a vibe. Like everyone was kind of into it. So,
and it was like the best part was hunting to see who had the cheapest prices. Like running around all the tables trying to find the one guy that's going to set the bar low, and then watching how long it took everyone else to meet that price. It was cool.
Yeah, he was like $20 cheaper than everyone else. Yep. And then the next day, every seller was his price because he was just cleaning house with that price. I don't think, though, I'm not convinced that Series 2 will be next after. That's a pretty long time. So then if you're thinking, well, what comes if I don't have $1,200 to buy the cup, what's coming next? From what I'm hearing and seeing, I think there's a decent chance it's 2021-22 clear cut, Troy. Right now, the holding date in there is March 8th. So that'd be a couple weeks after the cup comes out. Trying to find pre-sales. I couldn't find anything in Canada. I didn't look super hard, to be honest. But it's right around 100 US on Dave and Adams. Wasn't the 2020 clear cut like 150 or something?
I believe it was 150 because I remember I bought 2 boxes and both cards I sold, I want to say for 140, 150, and that got me my box cost back.
So it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll go up closer to release date, but so if you're a clear cut fan, you might want to get in on the pre-sale action there at your favorite online retailer.
Yep.
All right. Last segment for today, Troy, it's a little debate between JRob and Tage Thompson and kind of who might be the safer bet. This came about when thinking about all the injuries and all the vibes that are getting crushed with no Cole Caulfield for the rest of the season. Hughes a little suspect as to what's going to happen. We had Matty Beniers get hurt lately. And kind of I was thinking, well, would people kind of switch their attention back to JRob and Tage? And then I was thinking further, and I was like, I never really kind of did an analysis between, like, if I had to invest in one, how would I try to decide who's the better bet? And so I came up with a set of criteria, Troy, and did a little bit of research around it. We'll go point by point and give either JRob or Tage the Rage the advantage. And at the end, you and I will try to conclude who we think is the safer bet. I do want to say, though, that this is like arguing what's better, cake and or ice cream or Ferrari or Lamborghini. Both these dudes are super good. If we pick one over the other, it doesn't mean the other guy stinks. This is just a fun kind of thought exercise that kind of gets you in the mode. And what I try to do is put to practice a little bit when I'm trying to think of like who might be that next breakout guy or who's a young player that might be worth investing into, because I'm the little bit more investment guy here and you're, of course, the PC guy on the show, that how I would go through and kind of, again, go through that analysis. First criteria I came up with is age, because we know that that's really important. So JRob is 23, Tage is 25. So we're going to give the advantage there to JRob, of course. Seems pretty straightforward, right? The next one, Troy, and this one I'm kind of interested in what you think. Size, right? We've heard tons and tons about size, especially with all the injuries, right? All these little guys, they can't stay healthy. So JRob is 6'3", 210 pounds. He's a pretty big dude, and Tage is enormous. He's 6'6", 220 pounds. So my question here is, if JRob was 5'10 and 180 or 165 like Trevor Zegras, it would be an obvious advantage towards Tage Thompson. Where do you give the advantage here? This
to me is pretty close. I mean, I will say this.
It's kind of a push.
Yeah, I would call it more of a push, but the thing I'll say is I've seen JRob play and I've seen Tage play. Tage blew me away with how big he looked on the ice. I had no idea. And he looks like a huge man. And it was shocking when I actually watched him play like in an actual game and watched him for the whole game to get some analysis on him. He is a big dude.
I think we'll give the advantage to Tage there because it's a slight advantage. Yeah. It's not a huge one. So advantage Tage. So we got age. JRob's 2 years younger, 2 years-ish younger, and Tage is a little bit bigger. Okay, season to date. How are they performing this year? They're almost identical.
Yep.
Right? JRob has 33 goals, 36 assists, 69 points, 54 games. Tage has 35 goals, 34 assists, 69 points, and 51 games played. If you had to give somebody the advantage, it would be like the teeniest, tiniest advantage to Tage because he's played 3 less games and technically has 2 more goals, but they both have the same assists. So it's basically a push with maybe a slight advantage towards Tage, but it's like rounding error kind of advantage. So let's look at their career. So Tage has 91 goals, 81 assists, and 172 points in 274 games played, Troy. That is 0.63 points per game, 0.33 goals per game. 0.63 points per game, 0.33 goals per game. Now, JRob has 91 goals. God, they have the same amount of goals. That's crazy. 103 points, or 103 assists for 194 points in 182 games played. So a lot, 90 less games. He's at 1.07 points per game and 0.5 goals per game. So he's significantly better in his career, NHL career to this point, than Tage Thompson as far as goals per game and points per game.
Yeah, Tage Thompson, it's crazy. You look at his career stat line. It's like those first 4 seasons were just non-existent, and he was injured in one of them. I think the 1920 season, he only had one goal or one game played. So I don't know if he was injured, minors.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what happened, but it's like let's just think, his first season, 9 points. Second season, 12 points. And that's in 65 games played for the second season. Third season was the one game played. Fourth season, 14 points in 38 games played. And then it's like the Kool-Aid man comes busting through the wall for the 21-22 season. And he just goes crazy and has 68 points in 78 games. And now it's really exploded. So that's kind of just a little background on the history on their stats.
JRob has been much more consistent.
Yeah, for sure.
And the fear, if any, and I don't think it's going to happen, but would be, well, does Tage disappear again for some reason? But you got to give JRob, he's been much more consistent. Okay, goal scoring pedigree, right? Gongshow rule. Going back to goal scoring. So if you look at JRob, Troy, between juniors, AHL, and NHL, he's averaged almost right on 0.5 goals per game or better in 6 of 10 seasons. So he's done at least 0.5 goals per game in 60% of his seasons going back to when he's a teenager playing junior. Tage, between juniors, NCAA, and NHL, has averaged 0.5 goals per game or better in 2 of 13 seasons. Yep. You got to give the advantage to JRob from a goal-scoring pedigree perspective.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
Okay, so we've looked at age, size, their season to date, their career stats, and their goal-scoring pedigree. Now we're going to go on to market and team. JRob, of course, plays for Dallas, which is kind of like a middling market. They got a nice core of players. His line mates are Rope Hintz, Joe Pavelski. Tage, on the other hand, plays in Buffalo, which in theory should be a better market than Dallas, but they've stunk forever, and so that's kind of hurt. They have an exciting core of young players. His line mates are Jeff Skinner and Alex Tuck. I don't know who you give the advantage to there. Is it a push?
I'd probably go with Buffalo or Tage. Okay. I just like what the younger core of players in the market. I know Dallas has its following, but again, it's in Texas, so there's something to be said there.
Yeah. Now let's go to hardware and individual awards. So JRob was on the all-rookie team and is a one-time All-Star. Tage is a one-time All-Star.
Yeah,
I guess you give the advantage to JRob because he made the all-rookie team, and he made it younger than Tage.
Yeah, and JRob was, I'm just looking up, was second in the Calder Trophy voting, it looks like, in 2020.
Okay.
So I think
so I guess you got to give it to JRob.
Yeah, that holds a little weight.
Durability. The best ability is availability. Yep. Tage has missed 22 games in the past 2.5 seasons. JRob has missed 13 games in the past 2.5 seasons. So again, advantage JRob. Last thing that I looked at was just like from like a hockey card metric and looked at like their pop counts. And JRob, of course, is a 2020 young gun. His PSA 10 is pop 616 with a 41% gem rate. Tage is a 2017 young gun PSA 10, pop 123 with a 27% gem rate. So from a young gun's perspective, the advantage is clearly to Tage Thompson. I also think just from a general hockey card perspective, Troy, that there's a big difference between post-COVID print runs and sets and pre-COVID print runs and sets. And it's just that JRob cards are always going to be, or should be much more replaceable than Thompson. And so from a hockey current like card perspective, when you're factoring pop counts, gem rates, availability, replaceability, I would give Thompson the hockey card advantage over JRob. Would you agree with that?
Say that one more time. Did you say Tage?
Yeah, Tage.
Yeah. Okay. For some reason, I thought you said JRob, and my mind like short-circuited. I was like, what? How can you say that?
Happened before.
Tage. Yep. Agree.
Tage the advantage from hockey card perspective. So now we got to go through and go back and kind of factor all these in and weight them. And so we have age, JRob, size, Tage, season to date. We're giving maybe a slight advantage to Tage. Career, though, JRob. Goal scoring pedigree, JRob. Market and team, Tage. Hardware, individual awards, JRob. Durability, JRob. Hockey cards, Thompson. Yeah. It's not super easy, but I would probably lean JRob.
Yeah, the only way I would lean JRob, the only way I would lean Tage is if I think he can still perform, even a higher level. Because I think there's a lot of weight into the pop. I'm looking at his young guns, right? If I'm looking at the young guns, I think there's a lot to be said for low pop count and the low gem rate, like we've mentioned many times. And if he can put up huge numbers, I would probably lean towards Tage. But I don't think that continues. I think JRob probably is the play for going forward.
He's 2 years younger. I think the age is a big thing.
Age. I think the goal scoring pedigree is a huge thing. You can kind of throw out size. I think that's kind of a push. Season to date, you can throw out career stats. I like, obviously, there, JRob had a little more, I'll say, consistency. He still kind of exploded on the scene, but not like Tage, where he came out like the Kool-Aid man through the brick wall. And you do wonder if there's going to be a kind of regression there. But I think I would lean towards JRob, unless I'm fully 100% bought in that Tage will keep doing this every year he's left on his career.
I might actually make the argument that I do think Tage exploded onto the scene. I kind of feel like that with JRob, it wasn't as much as he exploded onto the scene. It's just like the hobby all of a sudden like got to their senses. Yeah. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, this guy's. When was he bad? I'm sure there might have been a stretch or two where he maybe didn't produce as much, but I kind of feel like he's just been under the radar until this past December.
Which is crazy because he had 41 goals the previous year.
I know. He got over that magic 40-goal line. I don't know. I just thought this was a fun exercise and kind of like a way to break down who is good to invest in and kind of like apply some of these rules that we had been talked about. So I'm going to go JRob, and it sounds like you're going JRob too. Yeah. But not that Tage is bad. You know, I just bought a couple Tage rookies. So
yeah, now I'm going to go buy a Tage young guys.
Don't buy Tage. It sounds terrible. The price will go down. Let me buy him. No, that's not how it. I didn't buy anything of substance, just a couple random things. All right, well, that is our show for today. If you liked the episode, please leave a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, or whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, and how could you not? Even though, Troy, we didn't hear any like personal stories about you today. A little disappointing.
No, pretty laid back.
We do have mailbag.
Pretty laid back.
Yeah, we have mailbag. But I know that's my train of thought. Oh, if you love the show and you want to support us and chat with us and maybe learn about Troy on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation and join our Out of 99 support level tier on Patreon. You can find a link to our Patreon on the hockeycardsgongshow.com website, on the Patreon website at Patreon. Search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. In the show description of the episode you're listening to us on the podcast app, I guess, that you're listening to us on as well, or in our link tree on social media. Hockey Cards Gongshow is all over social media, Troy. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And finally, Troy, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a production of Dollar Box Ventures LLC, and we'll see you on Thursday.